Well, I got my 2002 Volvo S60 2.4T turbo. Looks like I got a bearing back here that's going bad on my passenger rear. So this will be a film to help me do this in the future and anybody else that might be facing this. So right now I'm just going to get the tire off and I'll be back in a minute. So now you have the Volvo up on these. I left the jack underneath there too, just to support it. So be back when the tire's off. So I got the wheel off. I like to put it under there in case something happens. It'll fall on the wheel and my head won't get crushed. But here's what we're looking at. So I've got to get the disc off, which is this bolt. This just holds the rotor on. That's all it does. And then we got to get the caliper off. I'll check the brakes while we're at it. You can kind of see the padding on this side looks good, but a little concerned about the chafing in there. So the scratches in here. So anyway, when we get that off, I'll be back. So it turns out this guy right here is a 10 millimeter. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off, and then I'll get the caliper off. So to get the caliper off, gotta go back behind here, and there's these bolt here, and there's one down below. These are 13s. So I got the caliper out, and it's hanging there. Focus, there we go. And what I did find was this ridge right there. I just never really seen that before. It's on both sides, but if you look at the brakes, I mean, they look brand new. I just tested them too, and they're actually working fine, but I don't understand why. I've just never seen brake shoes tear down a rotor faster than the rotor breaking down the brake, or pads, I should say, brake pad. Anyway, be back in a minute. All right, so I just got the rotor off. It's right here. It actually is a drum as well for the parking brake. But anyway, you can see this is the shoes for the parking brake, and as far as I can tell, they look fine. I'm not going to worry about those, but this is what I'm really after, is this. And anyway, need to get that off of there. I'll let you know when I get it up. Okay, so I got all 4 of the bolts that hold this thing on. So there's 1, 2, and then kind of see over there, 3, 4. And this one over here is a pain in the butt, and I had to use, it's not too bad, but I had to use a box-in 17 on that. The other ones I was able to get on a socket just fine. And then I needed to get this off, which I should have done before I pulled the rotor off, because then I could have used the brakes. But instead I just put 2 lug nuts back in, held it like this, and then got that's a 14 socket on that center there, and was able to get it off fairly easily. So next thing is I'm going to pull this out, and then hopefully the bearing will not fight me too much. Thanks. Okay, so I got the bearing off. There it is. I had to fight it a little bit, but not too bad. It came right off. So now I'm just going to kind of inspect it, compare it to the old one, and see if I'm good to go and all that. So that's the CV joint. It actually looks good. The boot looks fine. Shaft looks good. I don't see any problems with it, so I'm going to leave it alone. But anyway, this one bolt back here is kind of hard to get to in the back, and I left it in, and just had to fight it out a little bit, but it only took me a few more minutes. So anyway, as you can see, I was able to leave all the brakes in. I just had to get to these bolts and from the rear, and no big deal. So all right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so here's the old one, which looks bad, and it was kind of spins. It's a little bit worrisome, but anyway, here's a new one. They are the same size. I just happened to put some lug nuts in this one, so it raises it up a little bit. But anyway, got this cleaned out and sprayed a little lube in there, and Now I'm just going to go ahead and put the new one back on. So that bolt right here is the one that gave me a lot of problem. And when you come around here and you're dealing with trying to get this thing on, it turns out this likes to, well, if it's not screwed in, it likes to hit this here. And so I've had to start it first so that the other bolts can get started, we can be flush. So I'm working on that right now.